This example is going to show you how to test the REST API from the FlowWright UI. Instead of using any other tools, you can use Postman if you like, or you can write code to test the API also. But just to make sure that the API functions, is configured correctly and all that, one of the first things you're going to do is you're going to go into the help section. So under the last menu will be help. Once you go in here, you're going to go to technical and you're going to go to the REST API. When you look at the REST API, it's going to bring up this FlowWright REST API. This might take a little bit of time to fetch because it's being dynamically generated based on our REST API. Once this is done, you will see that the list will come up, and it's still coming up. And in order to do a simple test, what we're going to do is we're going to go under DE user. And under DE user, you can see all the different REST API calls. And we're going to test out the one that says get users. So if you click on this particular, on the name or the get here, you will actually see the information. In fact, if I click on something else, you will see the documentation. You will see that the workflow ID is required here. This particular call get users doesn't require anything, so I can click on try out. You will have to provide your username and password to FlowWright. So I'm going to use my admin username and the password. And with successful login, you will see that it will run that particular REST call and bring you back the data that you want. And it will also show you, in order to make a REST call, what the URL looks like. You can see that we are sending, if you were using curl to make this call, you can see here's the information, here's the request URL. If you were writing your own or using a tool like Postman, this will be the URL to make, and you can see that it brought back the data from the system. Okay. That is how easily you can test out the REST API. If you have problems making calls to the REST API, one of the things you might want to check is to make sure that the REST API is configured with the correct database configuration. So in order to check that, you are going to go back to the menu and you go under status, and under status you will see that under information you have database. Under database you will see that the REST API connection string. Make sure this connection string matches the one on top in the above connection string. And if this connection string is wrong, most of the REST API that are talking to the database will not function.